Hello, everyone. Today I am joined by Tyree Get Right Sutton. Fights Julian Birch at CFFC 132 on June 14th. Tyree, how we doing today?
Man, I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Feeling great. Feeling mind feeling great. Body feeling great. Can't complain.
So we just talked about it a little bit before, but you had a late opponent change just announced a couple of hours ago, taking on Julian Birch now instead of Jose Soto. What were your thoughts at first when they approached you with a new opponent?
Um, Happy. I didn't want to not be fighting. I haven't fought since December, so it was just important that I fought this month coming up. So I'm just happy to have a dance partner.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, you've had a very active career so far. I mean, what is it? 5 MMA fights, 2 kickboxing matches in the past 19 months. I mean, could we expect to see that same kind of activity now that you've turned pro, or are you going to try to pull it back a little bit?
Um, Granted, I'm healthy for everything. I'm gonna try to be as active as I can. Assuming people will take the fight. That was a problem in amateurs. Getting people to say yes. So bulk of my fights came in the summer, all because I had a lot of people turning me down, and then in like one part, I just had so many people say yes. So I had like 4 fights in like 2 months,
Yeah.
in like 8 weeks. So yeah, I plan on being very active. I just want to have a great start. So activity is the important, being active.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, you got to stay active in this sport. I was the guy I was just talking to right before this. He's been having problems getting fights. He hasn't fought in a year because he can't get a fight. So as long as you can get in that cage and actually make the walk, you have to, man. You have to stay sharp, especially early on.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, being active. I want to hopefully, if I get 3 fights in this year, that'll be great. 4, 3 would be great, but 4, I'm gonna aim for 3. Hopefully summer, fall, winter.
Okay.
If I can squeeze 4 in, then that'll be even better.
Oh yeah. So Birch is also making his pro debut. He finished his amateur fight on a 3 fight winning streak with an 8-1 record. You said that you didn't think that this was. You just said you didn't think he was as tough as Soto was, but would you say this is a step up in competition?
Um, my last opponent was probably my best opponent, and he so I mean, like he's making his pro debut as well. So I'm looking at it as a jump for both of us.
Mm-hmm.
Something new. More lights. It's more serious than ever now that it's that we're pro. Money is involved now, so yeah, no, it's definitely a lot more pressure now that we're pro. But um, I think I had a lot of experience. I had 9 fights. You said I had 5 kickboxing, four kickboxing, 5 MMA.
Oh, okay.
Only not all of them are on Tapology, but I
Yeah.
had about 9 fights in about a year and a half. So yeah, definitely.
Okay. So this fight will be in PA, and you train and fight out in New Jersey, and you live there too as well. So your new opponent will be coming up from Florida. Do you feel like you have a bit of a hometown advantage with more people there cheering you on?
Yeah, nah, definitely feel like I'm more of a. I definitely got the home field advantage. Philly's right there, arrow and some change. I'm always in Philly. I love Philly. I'm an Eagles fan, so
Okay.
I definitely feel at home for this fight. I'm gonna have a lot of people pop out and support. So it's gonna feel like a home fight to me, and he's gonna feel like an away fighter.
Definitely. You love to hear that for sure because, and especially in your first pro fight, I feel like that's something that matters a lot is making sure you have the crowd behind you and you have your people there, making sure that everyone there wants to see you win.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was my the challenge before with Soto because he was from Philly, so
Mm.
um and that would have been the challenge. But hey, I welcome it all, so I'm definitely down for it. I'm glad my first fight would be more of a home fight for me. So yeah.
So you're also first fight in CFFC, man, one of the biggest regional promotions out there. How did you feel when you found out you were going to be fighting in CFFC in your first pro fight?
Great, because I trained with some top people who fight for CFC.
Mm-hmm.
As far as Luke, my friend Greg just held the belt at
Yeah.
heavyweight. My one of my teammates Frank fight for CFFC. A couple other people I train with fight for CFFC as well. So I'm always there at the events. I like the way they run things, very professional. So I'm happy to be a part of it now. And yeah, I love it. I love it. I love every second of it. So, um, there's no bigger regional promotion out here than CFFC. So,
Yeah.
hey, I love it. There's a
Yeah.
lot of eyes on it. So that's great.
Yeah, I mean, I saw you last time I saw you was at the CFFC event. I forget which one exactly it was, but it was in Jersey, it was in AC, I think, or something
Yep.
like that. And that's
Yep.
the last time I saw you. So yeah, no, definitely always are there just for whoever's fight or just to watch the fight. So it's awesome to
Yeah,
see
man.
that.
I'm a fan of the sport, and like I said, I have so many friends who are fighting. If I didn't go to college with them or high school wrestling, um, we I'm just tied into the community is like heavy with all my friends. I just love it, you know.
Yeah.
So I'm always outside at the events.
Oh yeah. So I want to talk about the start of your amateur career. You had a pretty unfortunate start. You had the DQ loss in a fight that you were clearly winning, and then a very close split decision loss that, I mean, you almost finished the guy in the first round. I watched both fights, so I just wanted to say that knee was brutal. I know it wasn't illegal, but that knee is going to serve you well for your pro MMA career, man. Seriously. But
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, it was rough. You know, the rule settings that I feel like was just holding me back
mhm.
for all my fights. Like this is will be the first fight where I have the complete rule sets, ground and pound, elbow, and so I feel like a lot of that was just holding me back in what I really am naturally good at. Um, so I'm just happy to have the rule settings because, like I said, the DQ in any other state that might be a highlight, you know.
Mhm.
So that was great. And then the split, that all came down to just that's why I'm glad I took the amateur route because I learned through that fight you can't, you know, it's all about nutrition. I wasn't putting the right things in my body. My best way, the best thing I heard was you can't put bad gas in a Lamborghini. So I was putting bad things in my body, and I paid for it in the amateur rank. So I'll make sure that won't happen again in the pro. So
Yeah, just some
it's just
learning
learning
lessons.
experiences.
Yeah, just learning
Yeah,
lessons,
learning
man.
lesson.
Course. So how were you able to mentally move on from those losses and then just go on and win 4 fights after that, including kickboxing matches?
Well, I try to keep the main thing the main thing. You know, it was amateur. I'm getting in there for experience. You know, do I think any of those guys were better than me? No. So I think it was more about, like I said, getting as much experience as possible so you could be comfortable in there. And that's all it really came down to. So I didn't look too much at the losing, you know, or winning, you know, as long as because there was some winning performances I wasn't very happy with. So it's all about just getting experience in there and knowing what you're good at and what you're not good at, you know, what to stay away from in and outside the cage. You know, like I said, I wasn't eating right. So now I'm eating better and doing a lot of better things that I was doing that I learned from each and every fight. So I try not to look at the losses because, like I said, I don't think any of those guys were better than me. It was more about me not having the experience in certain areas,
Mm-hmm.
and that was about it.
Yeah, I mean, you had that vicious 44-second KO and to get your first amateur win. I actually was there. I got a really clean video of that one. I remember I showed it to you right after, and you were like, "Oh, hell yeah, that looked good. Hell yeah."
Uh,
And I mean, man, like you've seen, like, from you at least, improvement in every single one of your fights, at least from what I've seen, because I've watched all of your amateur MMA fights, and I've just keep seeing you improve, improve, and improve. And one thing I noticed was that after that DQ loss, you were very patient, you were very hesitant, and you wanted to, like, make sure you didn't mess up again like you did in that fight. And I feel
yeah,
like now that you're a pro, those are mistakes that you won't have to worry about making. Those are things you can kind of use to your advantage now.
yeah, no, absolutely. And like I said, I feel like what anybody who I train with now, like when I do get in the ring, it's all about experience. And I'm like, okay, this guy has more experience. That's why he does this well. He knows when to pick his shots because of the experience. The experience is everything. That's why I tell people in the amateur ranks, you know, don't worry about saying no to people or, or worry about losses because you just want to get in there and be active as
Yep.
possible, you know. Because once the experience will make you comfortable, you
Mm-hmm.
know.
Yeah, most definitely. So this is your pro debut. We talked about that before. What made you decide that it was finally time to say, I'm done with the amateur career, let's make the switch and become a pro?
Um, the lack of people saying yes to me. I couldn't get, like I said, I couldn't get fights. I wasn't getting the rule settings I want. So if I did have enough fights, my opponents either didn't or I was fighting in certain states where I wasn't allowed to ground and pound. So it was really to get the full rule sets, and I'm thinking the pool of opponents might be bigger now that I'm pro.
Mm-hmm.
And so I mean, obviously, people still want to be smart. It's still business at the end of the day. You want to pick and choose. That's what a lot of people do, is pick and choose who they want to fight. For me, I really just wanted the full rule sets and be able to finally, make some money now.
Yeah, hell yeah, man. So, did you sign a multi-fight deal with CFFC, or is this just a one-fight contract, just kind of testing the waters
No,
out?
I signed a one-fight contract.
Okay.
As far as right now, I think we're gonna continue to do one-fight contracts. So yeah.
No, it's a smart route. It's a smart route. I know a lot of guys that are just starting up in their pro career, still early on in their pro career, are only doing one-fight contracts because they don't want to really lock themselves into anything that might end up not being good in like a year or two. So it's a smart
exactly.
route.
So I want to be able to fight any and everywhere. I don't want to limit where I can fight at because I'm in a contract for so long or a certain amount of fights. So I definitely like the idea of the one-fight contracts right now.
Yeah, definitely. So I wanted to throw it back to the past a little bit real quick. So you were Keensburg's first state wrestling champ. You won Flow Nationals. Do you feel like you've had high expectations throughout your fighting career because of your past accomplishments?
Absolutely. Because, one thing, if you're not going to, wrestle internationally or go to the Olympics, most people who wrestle, they expect you to fight after. And, I've been having friends and family members for years telling me, this is what I should do. I knew I was going to do it, and it just feels better when you hear it from other people. So those expectations are always there, especially when you have the success I'd had at wrestling. I was a Kingsburg first state champ. I won Flow Nationals. I went to JUCO. I was a JUCO two-time finalist, one-time champ.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of expectations, especially when you go to the school I went to in college. It's a lot of those people turn to fighters after that. So
yeah, so I actually wanted to talk about that. It was Iowa Central Community College, right?
Iowa Central.
Yep. So you and a bunch of other guys now from the area are all fighters that used to go there. I know you have a long history with some of the other upcoming guys like Nazar Dimes, Nick Caracappa. I know you wrestled there with Richie Lewis, who's a big name and coming up in MMA
Richie
right now.
Lewis.
So just talk to me about some of those guys, your relationships with them, and just talk to me about knowing them for as long as you have.
Like I said, I'm so tied in the community because of wrestling. And like I said, as far as I knew Nezzy since I graduated high school. We've been training together. Caracappa, I knew him since he'd been in high school. Always been watching him. I like him. My friend Darwin Pena from St. Benedict's.
Darwin's the
Nutley,
man.
Iowa Central guy. My friend Cheeto, Iowa Central. There's a bunch of dogs from just Iowa Central. Not only in New Jersey do I have friends, I got friends all over the country, Midwest. A lot of us are just fighting. That's just, when you go to that school and then you see those names on the board, like John Jones, Cain Velasquez, Kobe Covington, Phil Halls, you see those names, you just want to be a part of something legendary. And you just know, like, okay, you're on the right path if you're at this school right now. And you're on the right path if you're winning and doing things like becoming a national champ at that school. So for me, a lot of these guys that I train with out here, like I said, from college, these are my best friends now,
Yeah.
So I'm closer to these guys more than I am with guys I grew up with. These guys are dogs, so so I love them all. The wrestling community is just deep, especially coming into fighting, and it's just great because we're all three of us are on that card together, So coming up, and it's gonna be big. Iowa Central is just it's a great fight school. It's not a fight school, but people think that,
Yeah, no,
because of
Darwin's on that card too, right?
Darwin, Cheeto.
Okay.
Yep. Iowa Central, 3 Iowa Central guys on that card.
Nice. Yeah, no, it must be like you said, it must be so motivating to have come from a place like that, seeing all those names on the rafters and been like, I want my name up there next. I want to follow those footsteps,
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like I said, the first day on campus, you walk into my coach's room, it's a 6'5" poster board, John Jones. How do you not get inspired?
Yeah.
So that's what it is.
Yeah, and Nezzy's my hometown guy. He reps my hometown, Old Bridge.
Nezzy
So come
Don.
on, you know what I mean? Like all those guys.
He's a
Like
dog.
I love all those guys. Those are all some really great guys. And like I'm so excited to see the future because you guys are all coming up together. You guys are all some dogs. Great amateur careers, all turning pro around the same time. Like it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun to see the explosion of New Jersey MMA coming up.
Yeah, nah, it's fabulous to see. And like I said, we all embrace each other. We all support each other to the fullest extent, you know.
Of
So
course.
it's great.
Yeah. All right. So last one from me. So like I've said before, I've watched all your amateur fights. I had Andrew send me them before our interview. So I've watched all your amateur fights. What I see is a fighter with an incredible wrestling base, explosive power, an amazing get-up game. You pick your shots patient with accuracy and have some thunderous takedowns as well. What do you see as your potential in this sport? How high can you go?
Well, like I said, you know, when you got the history that I have in success in wrestling, you think you can take it as far as you can, you know. And for me, I knew I wanted to do this since I was 14, you know. So for me, I don't see why. I think I have all the given talents to make it as far as I want to take it.
Mm-hmm.
And if that's UFC, then that's the UFC. I think there's nothing stopping me. I think there's not anyone who's my weight who can beat me. And that's just how I think. I feel like mindset's first. So as long as I think like that, there's the success in this business is endless for me.
Hell yeah. And I promise you, I'm not just saying this because we're on the interview. I see a future for you as a UFC contender. Like when I watch you fight, man, I see everything that's needed right now to be a future contender at 205 in the UFC. And I promise, like from my heart, I'm saying that. Like seriously, you have the skills, man. You really do.
Appreciate it, man.
Just keep that work ethic.
You know, I love hearing it. You know, I love when people tell me it. You know, for me, all I need is the opportunities, and I'll be able to prove the world, you know, why I'm him.
Yeah, no, definitely. All right, Tyree, that's it for me, man. Tyree Get Right Sutton taking on Julian Birch at CFFC 132 on June 14th. Everyone go tune into Tyree's fight and be able to watch an up-and-coming savage, up-and-coming UFC contender in the making, man. Tyree, thank you for your time.
Appreciate it, man. You know, like I said, reach out to me whenever, man. I love doing things like this.
Of course.
Absolutely.
No, before your next one too, we'll definitely talk, man.
Absolutely, man. Thanks. Nice meeting you again, bro.
Yeah, of course,
you gonna be there?
I'm not, sadly. I'm gonna be busy that weekend. I'm sorry.
Tune in.
I'll tune in. I'll tune in for sure. No problem with that. All right, Tyree, amazing talking to you, brother. Have a good one.
You too, man.